Saturday the 21st of June. It's currently 9 a.m. and I'm about to meet a friend to go for coffee. But before I do so, I wanted to record this vlog as a little update because, as you've probably noticed, I've been MIA from socials, from YouTube, from Instagram for a little while now, and I'm going to tell you more about that because that's actually the purpose of this vlog today. Why have I been MIA? What's been happening in my life and all the updates. So how should I start? Well, the last vlog I shared on YouTube was the Melbourne trip, which, if my memory is good, was end of April, so about 2 months ago. Melbourne was amazing, but it was also really intense. If you haven't watched my vlog about Melbourne, it was 5 days full on bodybuilding, with training, with the comp. I didn't compete myself, but we went to watch the IFBB show because we had a few friends competing. I loved it, but it was also very exhausting. And when I came back from Melbourne, I actually felt the need to switch off from everything and everyone for about a week. If you don't know me personally, I'm an introvert, and it was 5 days of socializing. I haven't had time for myself to fill up my batteries. And obviously when I came back from Melbourne, well, it was back to reality, back to work with my online coaching business, with check-ins, with training, etc, etc. So as much as I loved that trip, that also left me very flat. We came back on Tuesday. I met Alem at Metroflex on a Wednesday. It was a very average session. We also bumped into a few people at Metroflex and I could not be asked to talk. And this whole week, my training sessions were really average. But I thought it's pretty normal because all the training sessions that we've done in Melbourne at the Undefeated Gym were next level intense, as you've probably seen in my Melbourne vlog. Mike vlogged us, he pushed us to our limits. When I say that I've never trained like that ever before, there's the failure and there's training with Mike, which is you reach your failure, but he makes you do 10 reps extra. Obviously he's helping, but my nervous system was completely flat after that. This week after Melbourne, I actually could not train to failure anymore. So I took a step back with training, and the following weekend we decided to volunteer at the NABA show, which is a bodybuilding federation. Alem picked me up on the Sunday morning. I was really excited to go because I love bodybuilding. Even though it's not my federation, because I turned pro with IFBB, I thought it's going to be nice, it's going to be something different, and I'm going to be surrounded with people from the bodybuilding industry, so it's going to be a very nice day. But as soon as we arrived at the venue, I was already feeling a little bit off and uncomfortable. But obviously I was not going to show it because I signed up to be a volunteer, so I'm going to help, I'm going to do my best, right? During the first hour, we had to help to set up. The show started around 9 a.m. As soon as the show started, I started to feel really anxious. I could not go home because people were counting on me. So I stayed, and I remember messaging one of my best friends, who's also a life coach. Her name is Mel. I told her, Mel, I really do not feel comfortable. I feel like I need to go home. I do not want to be sociable. I feel like I do not belong. It's actually such a weird feeling to describe, but I'm in love with bodybuilding, or I used to. Personally, I love to go to every shows, even if I don't compete myself, because I love the bodybuilding environment. And for me, bodybuilding is an art. It's something beautiful. When I see people posing on stage, doing their posing routines, it gives me goosebumps. If you're a bodybuilder yourself, I'm sure you can relate to that. Bodybuilding is not a sport, it's a lifestyle. You're breathing bodybuilding every single day. Every decision that you make on a daily basis is going to have an impact on the way you're going to look on stage, on the final package that you're going to present to the judges. Bodybuilding is not just about stepping on stage. It's not just prepping, it's also the off-season. Bodybuilding is 24/7 and it's all year round. You do not get a break, which is fine because it's a passion. It's something that is in your blood. If you're not a bodybuilder and you look at us from the outside, a lot of people think that we are missing on things. We're missing on going out to the restaurant, partying with friends, that we don't enjoy life. But for us, this is our way to enjoy life. We love what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. But for some reason, during that NABA show, I could not feel the love for bodybuilding anymore, and I started to have a panic attack. I started to question my whole life. Basically, I was like, is this your life, Lauri? And don't get me wrong, it has nothing to see with NABA, with this federation. I actually loved that show and how they run the show, and I loved the people. I feel like this federation is like a little family. Honestly, I've got so much love for them. So it has nothing to see with NABA. It was more so me sitting in the crowd, watching the show and noticing that I was falling out of love for bodybuilding. So I decided to get out of the venue. I was listening to a podcast, self-development, I don't remember exactly what it was. After half an hour, I went back inside the venue and I bumped into my previous coach and we started to have a chat. And the classic guys were on stage. My favorite category for guys, because this is such an aesthetic category. I love the physique that they have to display, the posing routines. I love classic. Same thing happened. I was looking at them and I could not see the beauty of it anymore. Panic attack again. I had to get out. And on my way home, I could not calm down. I was still having the panic attack. I was still having all these questions in my head, which were, do you still love bodybuilding? Do you still want to be a bodybuilder? Is this the lifestyle that you want to have? Do you still want to be a coach? Do you want to do something else with your life? It was wild. I remember walking to the train station, being on my phone and scrolling on Instagram. Obviously, my Instagram is full of bodybuilding stuff. Most of the people that I follow on socials, they're bodybuilders. And if I go to my explore page, there's a lot of bodybuilding stuff. I felt so overwhelmed, which is the reason why I decided to delete my Instagram. I did not delete my Instagram completely. There's a feature where you can deactivate your account, which is what I wanted to do. As I was about to do it, two things came through my head. First thing was, what are people going to think? Because when you deactivate your accounts from other people, it seems like you've blocked them. That was my first thought. And the second thought I had was, what if people forget about me? Wild thoughts, right? And then I thought, are these two thoughts going to prevent me from deactivating my Instagram? No, definitely not. And I hated myself for having these thoughts, because Instagram is not real life. So having these thoughts actually pushed me to remove my Instagram. So I deactivated it, and I remember sitting on the train, being on my phone, I had no notifications, and for the first 2 minutes, my thumb was still going on the app, but obviously there's nothing on the app. It was automatic. This is how addicted we are to social media. Do things without even noticing. I was listening to music and I had a feeling of instant well-being, instant peace, to the point where I fell asleep on the train. Missed my stop. When I woke up, I was panicking and I knew I had to get out, so I just got up and left, forgot my hat and my hair clip on the train, and I only realized when the train was gone. So that was a little bit sad, but the point that I'm trying to make is that as soon as I removed my Instagram, I felt that peaceful that I fell asleep. Wow. Then on my way home, a few people realized and messaged me in private asking if I blocked them. Well, I did not. I needed to have a break. That night, I cooked, I went to bed at 9 p.m. and you don't have socials, so you don't waste time scrolling. I had a really, really good night of sleep. Woke up in the morning, was still at peace, did not scroll through my phone because I could not, and went on with life. That social media detox felt really good. Since I put it back, I'm actually not using Instagram that much anymore. If you follow me on socials, you know that I've been barely sharing anything. I've got the notifications switched off and I barely reply to people. Actually, if you've sent me a message and I've never replied, it's just because I'm not using Instagram anymore. So sorry about that, don't take it personally. It's just that social media for me right now is something that is very overwhelming, and the only reason why I'm using it is when I've got clients messaging me or leads reaching out, but that's about it. So the moment I put my Instagram back, that was a couple of days before my birthday, and during this week of detox, something wild happened to me. As I was telling you before, my training since Melbourne has been off. I could not be asked to go to the gym. I was really struggling to go through my sessions, and as you probably know, the body is highly related to what's happening in your head. If you've watched my vlog about how I tore my biceps in November last year, all the injuries that I've had have happened when I was doing barely nothing. So mentally, I was in a weird headspace, not the best, and this is when I injured my back. Freezing, so I'm going to cover myself. Don't judge me, it's winter here in Australia. Where was I? My training sessions were really tough. As bodybuilders, you kind of know when the sessions feel good and when the sessions do not feel good. I remember going to the gym. It was on Tuesday. I was training upper, shoulders and back focused. As usual, I spent a good half an hour warming up. I felt the tight spots in my back that I've been having in the past, but I did an MRI 2 years ago and nothing came up. It's a sore spot that I have along my spine, mid-back. Anyways, so I've spent extra time on that day rolling, mobilizing, because I felt that my back was quite tight. During this session, I was doing this a lot because it felt like something had to click in my thoracic or hanging from bars to decompress my spine. Such a weird, uncomfortable feeling in my back. Everything felt not smooth, but I kept on going. The very last exercise was a biceps exercise, which is quite interesting because that's the exercise where I felt the most pain. It was a bicep curl at the cables. So you've got 2 cables at the back. You're sitting on the bench is inclined at 60 degrees. You've got 1 handle per hand. With this exercise, you've got a really good stretch at the bottom because your handles are behind you. I had a slow tempo, which was 3 or 4 seconds eccentric, pause at the bottom, then 1 second on the way up, pause at the top, something like that. I started quite light, like 5 kg per side, but the first set did not feel great. I felt that weird spot in my back, so I thought I'm just going to deload. That was the first week of this new training program, by the way, which is why I was still looking for my starting weights. So dropped the load to 2.5 kg, which was the lightest weight on the weight stack. And even the 2.5 felt hard, but not hard muscle hard, hard as in I struggled to feel the right setup that was allowing me to perform the exercise in a comfortable way. Second set, I still had reps left in the tank, but I did not want it to go any heavier than that because it did not feel right. Take a bit of rest, then I do my last set. Same thing, did not feel heavy, but did not feel great. After that, I remember being extremely happy to be done with this training session because the only thing I wanted was to go home. Went on with my day. I trained in the morning, so the whole afternoon I was out and about, smashed some work on the laptop, had dinner, had my shower, went to bed, and in the middle of the night I wake up with the wildest pain in my shoulder. But I thought it's muscle pain, it's related to the fact that it's a new training program, my body is not used to the exercise selection, exercise that I've never done before, and I'm just going to be sore for a few days. Completely normal. I was in a whole lot of pain to the point where I really struggled to sleep because there was no position that was comfortable enough to allow me to sleep. Laying on my back was hurting my scapula. Laying on my belly was hurting the shoulder. Obviously could not sleep on this side, but even if I was on the other side, it was still hurting this shoulder. It was wild. I woke up in the morning. I remember sitting down here on the table trying to do work, but I could not focus because I had this weird thing bouncing all around the shoulder, from the chest, under the armpits, behind the rear delt, all around the scapula, which at the time I thought was muscle spasm. I didn't worry too much. I thought it is temporary and it's gonna go away, no stress. Went on with my day and I went to the gym. It was lower body. I had to change a few things. I was meant to do RDL, I didn't do it. Replaced it with lying curls instead. The hack squat, I felt something, but it was not too painful. And I even did some standing calf raise where the pads are also resting against your shoulders, quite heavy, around 110 kgs for 20 reps. And once again, same as the day before, I could feel this weird pain along my back, but at that stage, not concerning enough for me to skip training. I did my session, went back home, had dinner, had shower, went to bed. Same thing again, go to bed, and I cannot sleep. It's the first time ever in my whole life where I've got an injury that prevents me to sleep. The pain was as if I dislocated my shoulder. So when I woke up, I messaged my chiro, asked if I could have an emergency appointment. Unfortunately, he was away. I had to see someone else. I searched on Google and there was this guy who was working in Bondi, so not too far from my place. He had an appointment straight away. The first thing I said to him was, I think I dislocated my shoulder. He said, it's not dislocated, trust me, I'm just gonna do my things. And I was like, okay, whatever. He knows what he's doing. he seems like he's a trustworthy person. Started to massage my shoulder back, he clicks all my back, clicks my neck. And at the end of the session, I had this weird feeling in my hand. I realized that I could not feel my finger anymore. So this one was numb. I asked him, is it normal? He goes like, yeah, give it a few days and everything is going to settle. I was like, okay, fine. My theory is that this appointment made things even worse because not only I had shoulder pain and back pain, but this is when the numbness started. So I did exactly what he said, waited one day, same thing, could not sleep, decided not to train the day after. Then I waited a second day and the pain was even worse, to the point that I started to have numbness in the thumb and this part of the middle finger. This is when I started to freak out. I messaged him again and told him I have now numbness in the fingers, alongside with the feeling of the dislocated shoulder and the broken back. And all this happened around my birthday. Happy 27th birthday, LAURI. I actually had a really good birthday, but it was hard for me to enjoy and to be fully present because I was in so much pain. I remember going to the restaurant with Bryony and some of my really close friends, and I went to Bryony's place because we wanted to get ready together, girl thing. She had to help me to put the dress on. In the chair at the restaurant, I could not find any comfortable positions. I was trying to sit like this because my back was killing me, my shoulder was killing me. Every time someone was talking to me, I had to move my head and it was causing me horrible pain. Anyways, it was really hard for me to enjoy, but I still had heaps of fun. And by the way, after that night at the restaurant, we were meant to go out with Bryony. There was this really good DJ, techno guy coming from Amsterdam who was playing at the Flinders in the city. I was really excited. We went there. Guys, the whole night, it was so hard for me to enjoy. Anyways, I still ended up staying until 5 a.m. that night because the DJ was really good. And if you know me, I'm a techno lover. I had to stay until the end of his set. But my birthday was the following Tuesday. Yes, I celebrated my birthday before my actual birthday because I had to find a date where everyone was here. Anyways, on the Monday, the day before my actual birthday, I messaged the chiro, told him there's something wrong. He was like, okay, I'll write you a referral so you can get an x-ray of the back done. I managed to do the x-ray straight away. Tuesday was my actual birthday. Ellen picked me up and she organized a whole day for me. So we went to the zoo, went to the restaurant, best day ever. And the day after, on the Wednesday, I got the results. They said there's nothing on the x-ray. I was still in a whole lot of pain. Nothing was getting better. I went to the GP. She wrote a referral for me to do an ultrasound and a CT scan of the shoulder and an MRI of the cervical spine. At that stage, we had to do a lot of tests because all my symptoms were so not coherent that even the doctors, they didn't really know where it was from. If it was related to the shoulder or the back, they wanted to get everything tested. I managed to get an appointment on the day for the ultrasound and the CT scan of the shoulder. For the MRI, I had to wait an extra week before having my appointments. Something I forgot to mention, I was already taking 2 Voltarens every morning and 2 Voltarens at night, and that was making no difference. I was still unable to sleep, still in a whole lot of pain. So the GP gave me a referral for a stronger painkiller, which was a mix between muscle relaxant and codeine. Even these painkillers did not help. Anyways, 2 days after I get the results of the shoulder, what came up was that I had bursitis in the shoulder, which is an inflammation. My GP wrote a referral for me to get a steroid injection in the shoulder. I booked an appointment, which was meant to be 2 weeks later. Go on with life, obviously don't train at all. Sometimes you have injuries where you feel like you can push through. With this injury, there was no chance whatsoever that I could step foot in the gym. I wasn't sleeping, I couldn't stand for too long, I couldn't sit for too long. And on top of that, I was also extremely worried because my fingers were numb. For me, it's not something that you can joke with. At that stage, I was already messaging back and forth with Mike and we've decided that it was better to pause the coaching. I was still tracking my nutrition, but I wasn't training at all. I had to wait an extra week until the MRI. Then I had to wait an extra week to get the results. Got the results on a Tuesday and I was meant to do the steroid injection on a Wednesday. Lucky me, I had the results of the MRI before the steroid injection in the shoulder, because on the MRI, we finally found out what the real problem was, and that the shoulder was just a consequence from what was actually happening in my neck, but it was not the main issue. I remember having a missed call on my phone from the medical practice, and it was my doctor saying, "Hey Laurie, I got the results from your MRI. I would like you to come in so we can have a chat about the plan." When I listened to that voice message, I knew that something was going on. I booked an appointment on the day to collect my results. In the waiting room, I was so anxious because I was about 3 weeks after the injury, and I 100% knew that something was going on because at that stage I was still on extremely strong painkillers and nothing had gotten better. On the MRI, what they've seen is that I had a disc injury between C6 and C7, which is here, right in between the scapula. One of my disc has a lesion. It's not really a fracture because a disc is not a bone. A disc is a little bit softer, but from what I understand, it's like a fracture. And when your disc has a lesion, there's liquid that can come out of the disc. And it's not liquid like water, it's thicker than that. So that liquid that came out of my disc formed a little ball, and that ball was pressuring my nerve. And that was the reason why I was in a whole lot of pain, because this nerve is going all around the shoulder, behind the scapula, under the armpits, and goes down all the way to my fingers. Everything started to make sense. I also realized how wild the body is and how one nerve, which is thinner than a hair, can cause that much pain and that much damage. So, treatment plan: steroid injection in the disc and physio. So I go to Spectrum, which is the place where you usually get all your X-rays, MRIs and scans done. This is also where they do the steroid injection. Cancelled the steroid injection in the shoulder and booked one for the disc instead. The day after I had my first physio appointments. I go to the physio every second day. The session lasts half an hour. He starts with massaging along my spine, all around my scapula, under the armpits and my chest. After that, he pushes on the levels that are sore on my spine. It is a technique that is meant to help to move the joints. Imagine this is my spine. This is the bit that is injured, C6, C7, but the levels around are also quite sore. What he does, massages around. After that, he pushes on the spine, like 10 times. Then he pushes on one side of the spine, then he pushes on the other side of the spine. It's quite painful. Most of the time when I get out, I'm in way more pain than before. Fun stuff, but it's meant to help. And on top of that, I'm also having one deep tissue massage a week with Elias. Elias, if you're watching this, you're a freaking legend. He's the best, honestly. Every time I go there, I'm always looking forward to it because I love the pain. When I know that this is a pain that is going to be beneficial on the long run. And I'm loving the pain so much that sometimes I fall asleep during his massage. He's always impressed because he goes like, how can you fall asleep when I'm going so deep in your muscles? I just love it. Anyways, so since we've got the results of the MRI, I'm seeing the physio every second day, and I've got deep tissue massage once a week. I got the steroid injection done 2 weeks ago. It's cortisone that they inject in the disc in order for the inflammation to go away and hopefully for that little ball that pressures my nerve to become smaller and to decompress the nerve. When I arrived at the medical imaging center, I was extremely stressed because the idea of having an injection in my disc was quite scary. What happens, they start with an epidural, which is what they do for pregnant women when they give birth in order for them to do the injection without you feeling anything. You're in a CT scan at the same time as they do the injection because they have to check if they're in the right spot before they can do the steroid injection. Otherwise it can be quite dangerous because it's your spine. So if they fuck this up, you can end up paralyzed. So I was really anxious. Anyways, in the CT scan, the first 5 minutes, they're just doing a scan. So you lay down. I was attached with my hands, I was attached with my feet, and my head was blocked, so I could not move at all. I was very intrigued, as in, why am I on my back? How are they going to reach my disc here if I'm laying on my back? I was so confused. Then after 5 minutes, the doctor, or a surgeon, or whatever his job is, walks in and starts to touch my neck. Then it clicked and I was like, is he actually going to go through my neck? Which means that the needle is going to be that long that it goes from here all the way to my C6, C7 well. But once again, I knew that if I freak out or if I move, it's going to put my life in danger. It's like when you're doing a tattoo. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, but you know that if you move, it's going to fuck up the whole thing and it's going to have consequence on the rest of your life. So you know that you cannot move. The good thing is that the doctor talks to you. He tells you every single step of the process, which was very reassuring. To start with, he put some products on your neck to clean the area. During the epidural, you do feel a needle going in. I felt a heat wave, but it's not really painful. After that, he waits a little bit. He injects a contrast product to make sure that he's in the right spot. The dye product, you don't really feel much because at that stage, everything is already asleep. When he did the steroid injection, I could feel the product going in and the nerve pain waking up. The whole area in my shoulder, behind my scapula, I could feel the whole nerve going down. It was closer to the pain that I have in the middle of the night where I cannot sleep because everything is so painful. Something you have to know about the steroid injection in the disc is that they estimate the level they're going to do the injection in based on your MRI. But they're not 100% sure that this is the level that is causing the nerve issue. From what I understand, there are different levels that can cause the same symptoms. For me, they estimated C6, C7. I could feel the whole pain in the nerve. So in my head, I was like, it's perfect, it's bang on, they're in the right level. The whole process lasts about 20 minutes and they explain you how it's gonna work for the next few days. They said that straight after, it's possible that I feel some relief because the back is asleep and that the pain is going to wake up a few hours later once the epidural starts to go away. They said to me, you should feel the first sign of the improvements within the first 2 days. That for some people it's longer than that. It could take up to 7 days. Just to be clear, the steroid injection is not magical. The steroid injection is not going to fix the problem in my back, but it's meant to relieve some pain in order for me to go through my days while being in less pain, to allow me to do the work with the physio in order to fix the actual problem in my back. Personally, right after the steroid injection, I did not feel any relief whatsoever. It felt 10 times worse. I asked the doctor, is it normal? That for me, it feels so much worse right now. And he said, yes, for some people, it's actually normal. So I decided to go home and take the rest of the day really easy. Slept for the whole afternoon. I think that I needed to sleep as well because this whole experience was very traumatizing for me. Also the fact that I did this on my own. I had no one to drop me off, to pick me up, to hold my hands. Maybe I'm just being a bit dramatic, but when you experience very high stress, sometimes you just need to sleep because you feel emotionally drained. After that, I can show you this. I had to fill out this paper. You're meant to fill it out every day to give a score from 0 to 10. 0 is no pain at all, 5 is moderate pain, and 10 is worst pain. Day 0 is the day of the injection, all the way up until day 10. You have to say morning and night how you would rate pain. Before the injection, I rated it an 8 out of 10. Since the injury, I've been an 8, which is quite high for me because I do have a really high pain tolerance. For me to not train for more than a month, it means that I'm in a whole lot of pain. It feels like I broke my back and I broke my shoulder. This nerve thing in the finger is just very uncomfortable. And on top of that, when I walk and when I try to move my head, I get electric shocks all the way down to the arm. So everything is very uncomfortable. And it's hands down the worst injury I've ever had. Not funny. So before injection 8, after injection 9. The day after the injection, in the morning 8, at night 9. 2 days after the injection, 8 in the morning, 8 at night. Then the day after it went down to 7 in the morning, 8 at night. I can just show you. I use my eyeliner. I do not owe a pen. As you can see, it's often a little bit better in the morning and worse at night, but it pretty much stays an 8 for the whole 10 days. I'm not gonna lie, I was extremely disappointed because I had a lot of hope. I really thought that this was going to help me to manage the pain, but after the first 2 days no improvements. After 7 days, no improvements. I kept doing it. I'm seeing the neurosurgeon next week and I wanted to show him. We are now day 12, 13, 14. It's been now 2 weeks since the injection and I'm still in 8. What they told me at the imaging center is that if 7 days after there's no improvements, you have to see a specialist. Only a neurologist or neurosurgeon can help. After that, my physio said that we'll have to wait 7 days after the steroid injection in order for us to do our next session. The steroid injection is quite severe and we have to give it enough time. 7 days after, I went back to my physio. We had a quick chat. 6 days after the injection, I was in my kitchen cooking and I wanted to reach something which was on the top shelf. I'm a midget, so I have to climb. And what I did without even thinking, I pushed through this arm in order to climb, but this arm went as if I had no strength in the arm. I was like, whoa. After that, I did some exercises. I started doing some push-ups, not on the floor, obviously, against the wall. And all the exercises that I was doing, even just straightening my arm and trying to squeeze the triceps, I noticed an overall weakness in the arm that I was not having at the beginning, because when I did my very first session with the physio, we started by doing some tests in order to evaluate where my strength was at. Pushing against him this way, pushing against him this way. During the very first session, he did not notice any loss in my strength. When I told him, he did the exact same test with this arm, so pushing down in order to check the tricep on the other arm. That was completely fine. And he asked me to push against him with the bad arm. I literally could not fight against him. He wasn't even pushing that hard. He said to me, okay, Laurie, I don't want you to wait any longer. I want you to see a neurosurgeon. Because not only the steroid injection did not show any signs of improvements, but in the meantime, within 7 days, I've also experienced a loss of strength. He said that the nerve that was responsible for my pain in the shoulder, in the neck, upper spine, and in the fingers was also responsible for the triceps. So to him, it makes sense that it's this nerve in particular that is compressed. He wrote a letter to give to my GP. The GP gave me a referral to see a neurosurgeon. Why a neurosurgeon and not neurologist? Because we are now talking about having surgery to remove that bit that is pressuring the nerve. I'm seeing the neurosurgeon next week. During the initial consult, he's not going to do crazy things. I think he's going to run more tests to define whether they did the injection in the right level. If not, he will probably want me to do another injection in the right level, and if the new injection still does not work, I'll probably have to see him again in order to discuss potentially having surgery. So yeah, lots of fun. I'm still in a whole lot of pain, but they changed my meds, and the ones that I have at the moment are a little bit better because they allow me to sleep, which for me was the biggest thing. The physio has also recommended me to keep going to the gym, because the worst thing you can do when you have a disc injury is to stop moving completely. Obviously, I am very, very, very careful. I know what I can do and I know what I can't do. At the moment, I'm trying to go to the gym twice a week. I'm doing leg extension, leg curl, horizontal leg press. I can't do the linear leg press because I'm resting against my back and it pushes against my scapula, so it hurts. I can't do seated leg curl because I would have to rest against the seat. So I'm doing laying leg curl, but I cannot do 2 legs because I can't hold the handles. That hurts my back, my neck, my shoulder. So I'm doing everything single leg leg extension, single leg laying leg curl, single leg horizontal leg press. It allows me to chase more intensity with less load. I'm doing belt squats because the load is resting on my lower back, so that doesn't load my upper spine. Oh yeah, something else I forgot to mention, I'm not allowed to carry more than 5 kg. What else? I'm doing single leg standing calf raise, backs, abduction and adduction, 45 degrees back extensions, walking lunges, reverse lunges, Bulgarian split squats. And then I'm doing some bodyweight stuff. Bodyweight reverse hyperextensions. This one feels really good because it kind of stretches my spine, which decompresses spine. So there are a lot of things that I can still do and there's a lot of things that I can't do, but it's fine. I'm always trying to focus on the things that I can still do. The goal right now, I'm not going to fail out. I'm just trying to chase some sort of intensity in order to save as much muscle as I can. I have not been training any upper. The only thing that I can do is to to get some sort of movements. So I'm doing reverse flies, even just body weight, it hurts. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm doing a little bit of cardio, I walk on the treadmill. I'm doing enough steps during the day because funny enough, when I walk, this is when I experience the least amount of pain. I'm experiencing more pain sitting still and standing still than walking, but it has to be walking flat. It's really hard for me as well to go on the bus or on a car because whenever there are bumps on the road, it hurts my neck. At this stage, everything pretty much hurts. Moving my head hurts. If I look down, I'm quite limited. I can't go deeper than that. Same when I look up, hurts my neck, and the worst is when I try to go sideways like this. I'm very limited as well. It's been 2 months that I can't move this way. It's not a fun injury, but I have to stay positive, and I'm very looking forward to see the neurosurgeon. I want him to fix me. The injury will probably take up to 6 months to recover, and if I do get surgery, it will be 6 months post-surgery. So if I end up having surgery in 3 months' time, well then I'll have to have 6 months to recover from it at least. It is going to be a very long injury, but I must say that I'm surprised in a good way of how well I'm handling this injury mentally, and it's going to make me cry. I'm very emotional because everything happens for a reason, and this injury happening at this time of my life is not random. Because mentally I was already in that spot where I felt that something was going to happen, where I felt like I was in the transition stage of my life. I have faith in life. I believe in God. I know that I'm in this exact situation right now for a reason, and if this happens to me right now, it's because life has other plans for me. I'm more excited of what's to come rather than anxious or disappointed. That injury happened when I felt the need to step away from all this, to connect with people on a deeper level. I reached that stage of my life where I'm over having superficial connections with people. That's probably why I felt the need to step away from social media as well, because for me social media is not real life, and for some reason since the injury I'm way happier. I feel more grounded, more at peace, more positive, because I feel like I'm letting go, and it feels great to let go. Bodybuilding is a lifestyle where you control everything. You track your nutrition, you track your steps, you track your training performance. Everything has to be perfect. And my whole life, I've been seeking perfection. This is the reason why I've been suffering from anorexia. It's this constant search for perfection, which is not possible. My whole life, I've been obsessed with control, perfection, looking a certain way. And I feel like now, at 27 years old, I'm finally letting go. I'm letting go with my nutrition, with training. I'm letting go of people and connections that were too superficial for me. I'm still tracking most of my nutrition, but if I want to go to the restaurant, I'll go to the restaurant. If I want to have a glass of alcohol, I'll have a glass of alcohol, which is crazy for me because I haven't had alcohol in 5 years. I've never been that big on alcohol. It's not something that I enjoy, but now if I go to the restaurant, I would have a glass of wine or an Aperol, which happens once a week, maximum twice. It's nice to let go, it's nice to enjoy food. If I want to have a pastry, I will have it. For example, this morning I walked past a bakery and they had cinnamon scrolls. So I had a cinnamon scroll, and the old me would have been so stressed and anxious about having something that is not part of my nutrition plan. I would think of the impacts that it was going to have on my physique. Whereas now I feel like, you know what, I'm probably not going to compete this year, realistically. At that stage, I'm unsure if I'll ever compete again. I'm not closing the bodybuilding chapter completely. I still look after my nutrition, I still get my steps in, I still do some cardio, I still go to the gym. I still have this bodybuilding lifestyle, but I'm slowly letting go. It's crazy for me to say all these things because I genuinely thought that this was going to be my life for the rest of my life, or at least until I have kids. We'll see what the future holds. A lot of people have reached out asking how I was going mentally, because for most people, this is what I am. I am a bodybuilder, I am an online coach, So if I can't train, it's like taking away the only thing that matters to me. And not gonna lie, I used to be like this. When I tore my biceps in November last year, when the doctor said to me that I won't be able to train upper for 6 weeks and that it will take up to 3 months to recover, I cried because I thought my life was over. And now we're talking about 6 months to a year. I'm fine with that. I think that I really needed this break. Obviously, I wish that I had realized this on my own without getting injured. Really struggle to slow down, see signs. Sometimes when you struggle to see things or when you struggle to make a decision, life gives you a little push. So yeah, that's about it. Had to move the camera around because the sun is now behind me and the light is really bad. I'm about to go and catch up with my friend anyway, so I'm going to finish this video here. I wanted to say many thanks to all the people who have been supporting me during this injury. As I said before, do not worry because I am fine and I will be fine. This is not the end for me, it's just the beginning of a different chapter. So no stress whatsoever, and I'm honestly blessed because I've got amazing friends. My family is very supportive as well. So stay tuned for what's to come. To wrap up this vlog, I wanted to tell you guys that sometimes we get trapped into life and it feels like everything moves so fast, and one day you wake up and you're like, am I actually happy with my life right now? It's really important to slow down, to be more present, to connect with people, to let go, to enjoy life because we only have one. If you enjoyed watching this vlog, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, take care, love you, bye.